All right, good morning, everyone. Futures Brizio here. Let's take a quick look at the markets this morning, 10 o'clock on Friday, May 23rd. Figured I'd try to make a quick video here during the session. Um, so I hope everybody's doing well. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're just finding it for the first time, and leave any questions or comments below. Um, so, and just to let you know, I will not be making any videos next week. I'll be on a little holiday vacation, so I'll be back the following week after that. So this will be my last video probably for a bit. But anyways, and I will be trying to keep an eye on the markets while I'm away, but to be honest, I'll probably be pretty distracted. So, but we'll see. So, anyways, let's just jump right in. We'll start on futures, and we'll start on this chart, which is natural gas. You can see I am holding a short here, which is not looking too good right now. But like I said, I show you guys wins and losses. And um, I had talked about this on the last video, and of course, I just changed my template, so I lost the box. So remember, I had a rectangle box that I drew on here several days ago to kind of pick up this whole area as price came off these lows and back up here. And you can see it did hold this area, and then it did hold this area as well and kind of reacted. But we really haven't gotten a lot of momentum to the downside. I took a short this morning figuring when I saw this failed, what I think was a failed attempt to go higher, I went short, even though it was not a great fill at this low. I figured there was plenty of downside for it to go, and it looked like it was going to try to break below the moving average too, which is not the most important thing here. The most important thing is market structure. But right now, it looks like it's trying to go higher again. So I may end up getting knocked out of this, but that's fine. So we'll see how that goes. But so a little bit of a transitional spot here on natural gas. This could go either way. Again, I guess I have to give a little bit of a bias to the long side just because of how aggressive this up move was with these Heikin-Ashi candles just being like not one red one in here until we got up to this previous structure area. So anyway, if we go up here and get back towards this high, then certainly we're going higher. But we could end up just sitting in a range now too. This could be the beginning of maybe a temporary ranging area. It's a little hard to tell. But, if we come back up to this area and then reject again and come back down, that would definitely establish a range, in which case I wouldn't trade it. So, because I don't trade ranges. But so we'll see what this does. But again, if we get back and take out these highs through this rectangle, bring this down a little bit, something like this, and we get above here, then certainly I think price will reach back towards these highs up here. But I'm still hoping that my short works out, although right now it's not looking too good. So, but we'll see how it goes. That's the only futures trade I'm in at the moment. We look on oil. Oil is looking like it's starting into a range now too. We did come up, had a blow off high here, pulled back, but kind of held this structure area. So this could be another situation like similar to natural gas where we're, perhaps we'll start ranging. You can see the moving average is flat. So we are technically have been in a range here for about the last week or 10 days or so inside this range. But we'll see. We're bouncing off the bottom of it. So for you range traders, could be an opportunity to perhaps go long here and, come back towards the upper end of this range. If you're looking for an area to think about doing that in, I would say, any kind of break of this high right here, because that takes out this little structure area right here, and that would probably push it higher. So we'll see how that goes. Um, and like I said, if we did have a false break and a liquidity sweep below this box, so that is pretty telling for longs, because it kind of pulled people in to go short on a breakout below this low, and now it's pulled back into the range. That's usually a pretty good sign that was a fake out or a sweep, and we're gonna in this case go higher. Okay. And if so, if you are doing that, a good target would be back towards these highs that were already put in. Onto corn. Corn looks like It's having a very big pullback. This is a much bigger pullback, so I have a feeling this could be a break of structure, just because if you just look at these pullbacks as it was going up versus what it's doing today. This is a 15-minute chart, but if we go to the hourly chart, we get a better picture of the structure area. So we are now down to this, approaching this low. If we get a break of this structure, then I probably would change my bias there, even though we're technically still be over the moving average here. Again, the moving average is not the most important piece of this analysis. It is the market structure. I only use the moving average just to get a quick visual of whether it's, how the trend is going. But just because, again, it's sitting above the moving average doesn't mean it's not going to go lower. But really, again, it's about market structure. So we're at a critical spot right now, and, we'll see if we can effectively break below here. We probably will go lower despite the moving average. But we'll see what happens from this point. I'm not really looking to trade it just because it's there's obviously no confirmation to take this back long yet, especially with this aggressive move down. But there's no confirmation to go short either because we don't have a break of structure and a pullback to enter in. So probably won't be any trade there today. And then copper remains inside of a pretty tight range. It's been in pretty much the entire month of May. You can kind of see the boundaries of it here. This one probably can adjust a little bit. If we just consider this an outlier up here. So, probably something like that. So we're sitting right at the upper end of that range again. We did put in a higher low right here. So maybe this is the break that will cause us to break out and go higher, because again, we put in what looks like maybe a higher low right here. But again, it is still in the range, and until it clears all of this stuff out, and you get the moving average to start bending back upwards underneath price, then not really anything I'm interested in at the moment. But this could be getting ready for a breakout. But then again, we did put in like a higher low right here, higher low, higher low, higher low, came up here and then dumped back down to the bottom. So this higher low doesn't necessarily mean it's going to break out here, because we've seen that all through here as prices bounce in between the range. So we'll see. But at some point, this will break out one way or another. This is all, basically like just the market taking a pause. There's obviously a lot of price parity in here. And right now, the big players that move the market are pretty happy with where price is. And, there's a lot of volume being traded at these levels, which is why price is just kind of bouncing between ranges. If you, had like a volume profile on this chart, you'd see probably some pretty heavy price, volume nodes like right through the middle of this range. So, when price is ranging sideways, that's usually either, big players, just kind of accumulating or distributing or getting ready to make a big move. But it also means that there's just, a lot of agreement on price, and there's a lot of business being transacted in these ranges. Between the producers and sellers, and just the people that actually move the market. So this is copper, so this is an industrial metal. So there's a lot of manufacturing and interest in here besides just speculators and hedge funds and stuff. So but at some point, obviously breakouts end and trends begin, and so I'll keep an eye on this. At some point, this will break out, and whether this is it here or whether we're just going to bounce and, come back down to the bottom of the range, I don't know. So that's it on futures, just keeping an eye on things, and that one position in natural gas, which again isn't looking too good. But I only have one contract on here, so because I wasn't really overly thrilled about this setup, just because, again, the aggressiveness of this up move. But we still technically did not break any major structure levels up here. Like I said, I was looking at this area and this area. We did not break either one of those. We tested both of them, but we did not take. But a lot of times what happens is it'll come up, it'll test them. They'll fail the first time. Sellers will step in, push price back down, and then the real move will come. The buyers will step in on the retest, and it'll go. So they're just kind of testing the waters here. the sellers jump in one more time thinking they've got the edge and push the prices lower. But you can see it's not able to do that. So far we've just, allowed it to come down a little bit. And again, I kind of went short on this little pullback when it failed to go higher and started dumping again. But, so I may be caught on the wrong side of that too. But it was worth the risk. And if it doesn't work out, then again, I'll just wait and see. Are we going to push higher and break through all this resistance up here and move higher? Then that's great. Then I'll look at longs. So, all right. So quickly on to Forex. Euro Aussie. We'll start with that because that's the first chart that popped up here. So again, 1 hour chart. Moving average, we have the price just kind of hovering. It looks like it does want to break lower. I did have this line drawn in here as price has really been ranging all week. So there hasn't been any trade on this. You can see it's just been chopping around all week. Hasn't really, given me any kind of good, bullish signal. But if we break lower here, we can get a break below this structure level. And now we are below the moving average. Then my bias might turn more short. If we jump out to a higher time frame, this is the 4 hour chart. You can see we are at what could be construed as a structural level here on the 4 hour. This, I don't consider, again, these little level like this one to be structure. This to me is a much better structure area. This is just like a little pause in this downtrend when it just kind of moves sideways for a couple of little teeny tiny candles and then keeps going. I don't really consider this structural level. This is the structural level here, and you can see it is reacting off there. So, this could be turning and going lower from here, but I'd want to see a nice definitive break below this structure area, below the moving average, and then, some kind of little pullback and then dump, in which case I would go short. So we'll see what happens with that. Swiss yen, nothing going on here. We're kind of in a big old range here, but it has been trending down. Most of the yen crosses have been trending down. And so this has been no different. I just haven't liked the setups. This pair does sometimes trend really, really well. If you go back and look at previous price action, it's just been, really, again, for about the last month, it's just been trading in this big range here. So just not very visually appealing to me right now. So I'm not really interested. I don't know why there's no moving average on it. I got the wrong template. So there you go. So, and you can see the moving average is kind of all over the place too. So nothing for me to do there. GBP yen, you can see I am holding a short here. Again, trending down. We did come up. We have this triple top that formed here. Still overall in a downtrend, never took out the structure level, and so we'll see if we get any push down. You can see we did initially reject off this low and then came back, and then I took this short off basically this here was that low that it made earlier today. Then it came back up, tried to go higher, and then when it started moving down again, I took this short. So we'll see. We did put in a triple top here. I'm not really big on old chart patterns like that. But I mean, the market is technically still in a downtrend even with this move up. You can see when it came down and tried to go back up again right here, it failed again to take out this high. So this is a very important level that sellers are trying to guard around the 193.50 area or so. The sellers are trying to hold this area. So I'm hoping it holds, and then we just continue to go down. I think on the 4 hour chart, it does look pretty bearish on the 4 hour chart. If this thing does break lower, then I can certainly see, somewhere down here as being a reasonable price target initially, back down somewhere in here. So I'll hold that. Euro USD kind of came back up, retested these highs, and then seems to be rejecting. We are trending up on the 4 hour, but you can see there's that equal high it made. So we've kind of already blown that off right now. So this is not, for me, is not really a time to enter. And it is Friday, so nothing else may happen with this anyways. But, we did come up, retest this high, and then have rejected off of it. But I still think this is overall is bullish, and so I'm still holding a bullish bias. It's just, to me, there's not really anything to trade with it right as we speak. Aussie USD, this is really hurts my eyes to look at. This is just another big old range. And so you can see the moving average cutting right through the middle of the price. You can see a clear range we've been in for quite a while now, again, for about the last month or so. So I'm not interested in this. I don't like this type of chart. This is not a trend. There are obviously micro trends on shorter time frames within these legs that you can trade if you're looking at short time frames, but that's not what I do. So to me, I just look at this and say, I'm good. I'll move on to something else. Dollar yen continues to tank. I did have a short on this that I closed a couple hours ago when it got back down to here. It's continuing to go lower. There's obviously no trade on this right now, as we've kind of already made this move. So if this does continue down, then I'll wait for another pullback and continue to go short from there. Peaking out at the higher time frame on the 4-hour, we do have an area it's approaching right here. So this is an area to kind of watch. This was a major pullback on the 4-hour. So it doesn't mean it's going to reverse and go higher from here, but do expect the market to react from this area. It doesn't mean, again, that it's going to, now turn and go up, but do expect a reaction from this area. So be careful taking shorts from this position, because we may see a more aggressive move up here. But again, as long as we maintain market structure, and for me, that's, this area right here. If price comes up and, blows through here and starts going higher, fine. Then you'll have more of a long bias. And that also would take out the moving average too and turn that higher too. So continuing to look for shorts here, but just, again, be cognizant of what lays, right down below this area. Which is right here, about where it's sitting right now. Okay, but if it gets through there, then we've got another, then the next leg down would take us down to here. So there's certainly room to trade it down into here if we can, get through this area. So I would say, if we get through here, close below these lows, then look for, a target down here. If it really reacts off here, that's fine. Could be a selling opportunity on a retrace, as long as we hold this area right in here. GBP USD did break out and went higher. We were chopping around these equal highs. That's what this red line is, which I'll take off now. Nothing to do with this now because it's already kind of made its move. So I will keep an eye on the CCI indicator because, again, any push down here and then a break back higher would signal another long opportunity. But there's nothing there right at the moment. It's kind of already made its high during the London session, which I missed. And finally, on dollar Canadian, I had a short on this, which I also closed at this low over here, I believe. Yeah, so here was the trade right here. I went short. I think I went short during, what time was this? This might have been during... No, this was yesterday. So I went short late morning yesterday. I held it through the overnight, and you can see I closed it at TP right here. It did spike down to these lows, but now it's pulling back off the lows. So that was a nice little trade, and I'm out of that one now. So, again, looking at the chart on the higher time frame, we are sitting at 4-hour low right now. So, again, kind of like dollar yen, just be careful of, a reaction point off of here. But again, we've got a structure area that's pretty far away right now up here. To me, this is kind of the major structure point. Eventually the moving average will catch up and move down here, but we'll see what happens. And if we go out to a really high time frame, which I don't really like to cloud the issue too much, but if we get past these lows, then we'll have a much bigger drop, all the way down, at least back towards these daily. Well, this is a 12-hour chart, but here's the daily chart. We'd look at something back here. So if we can get through this area here, then we've got a lot of nice space to still move to the downside. I mean, this is another 260 pips between these two red lines. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. But again, it is Friday, and we are sitting at recent swing lows, so I don't anticipate there'll be much else to do with this today. We'll just see what the market does next week. And, again, if we can clear these lows, then we could have another nice push down. But do anticipate a pretty decent sized pullback on this. And this pair does make, pretty radical moves when it trades up in corrective moves. You can see it likes to make 3-wave moves like this one, like this one. There's one here, it's small. Here's another 3-way move. So it does like to fool you where, it goes up and you think that the correction's over, and then boom, it runs up again. That's what it did right here. So people looking to go short right here, go jump in, and then it turns and goes up, takes them out because they have their stop loss sitting right above here, runs them up for another little bit more correction, and then it dumps. The real move comes. So this pair is very famous for that. It does that a lot on correction. So just, anticipate something like that here where it'll come up, look like it's going to go down again, and then come up again. And just be patient. Don't get fooled into that first bend because that might be not the real move. So, all right. So, that's about it. Kind of typical Friday price action. Nothing really too big going on right now. I don't anticipate, honestly, taking any other trades today just because, again, it is Friday. And it is a holiday weekend here in the U.S. Monday is Memorial Day, so the markets will be either closed or very quiet. Probably a lot of next week, but certainly Monday, as a lot of vacations will be going on. So like I said, even though I'll be keeping an eye on the market next week while I'm away, I don't anticipate a lot of volume. I don't anticipate really anything on Monday. And even after that, I think it'll be, kind of quiet for a lot of the week next week. So, all right, so I'll leave it there. I hope that was helpful. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Again, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope everybody has a great weekend. And we'll talk to everybody week after next. All right, take care, everybody.